The staccato burst of plasma fire echoed through the smoke-choked streets, each pulse a reminder that time was running out. Staff Sergeant Ronan Vale had spent the last 3 years pulling civilians out of collapsing colonies, and if he had learned anything, it was that chaos had its own rhythm. Engines screamed as overloaded transport strained for orbit, shouts from squad leaders cut through the din, and somewhere far above, the enemy was tightening the noose. The evacuation of the New Haven settlement on Zirion Prime had been going smoothly, by wartime standards, until the universe decided to test Ronan's resolve. He was scanning the final wave of departing colonists when he heard it, faint, high-pitched sobs, almost lost in the rumble of distant detonations. Perimeter sweep complete. No stragglers in sectors 7 through 12, reported Corporal Jax Corin over comms. Valkyrie patrol ships are 20 minutes out, maybe less. Ronan's eyes flicked to his tactical display. Every remaining human colonist had been accounted for. Still, the crying continued. Corin, check for any audio signatures near the old research facility, Ronan ordered. A pause. Then Jax's voice returned, edged with confusion. Reading 2 non-human life signs in the basement levels. Juvenile patterns. Elevated stress indicators. Sir, they're Valkyrie. Ronan's stomach dropped. The Valkyrie were the enemy, regal, bioluminescent beings with a reputation for both elegance and ruthlessness. And juvenile meant children. He could almost hear Colonel Heston's voice in his head, human evacuees only. No complications. No exceptions. But those sobs were real. Against every protocol, Ronan found himself moving toward the ruins. The research facility had taken a direct orbital strike, its once pristine architecture lay twisted into jagged corridors of shattered metal and stone. He pushed through the wreckage, following the soft, musical syllables of a language his translator could only half grasp. He found them huddled in the shadows of an overturned equipment crate, 2 small girls, no older than 8 and 5 in human terms. Their skin was a deep, luminous violet, patterns of faint light shifting across it like the slow pulse of bioluminescent waves. Both had the pointed ears and delicate, angular features of the Valkyrie. The elder stepped in front of the younger, chin lifted in a defiant glare that was almost regal. Their garments shimmered with subtle changes in hue, an unmistakable sign of highborn lineage. Ronan knelt slowly, removing his helmet so they could see his face. "It's okay," he murmured in the simplest Valkyrie phrases he knew. "Safe." The older girl hesitated, then spoke. "Saris," she said, pointing to herself, then to the smaller one. "Kayla." Ronan touched his chest. "Ronan." Kayla's small hand reached for him, fingers trembling. The moment her skin brushed his gauntlet, he felt the faint, static-like tingle of Valkyrie bioelectric communication. Saris, still wary, finally placed her hand in his, sealing the choice. They made their way out of the ruins, Kayla in Ronan's arms and Saris clutching his hand with iron determination. Jax's voice erupted in his calm the moment he emerged. "Sir, what the hell? Those are enemy civilians." "Not today," Ronan said flatly. "Today, they're children in a war zone. Get the transport ready." 8 minutes later, the ship roared skyward, leaving Zirion Prime, and the approaching Valkyrie fleet, behind. In the passenger compartment, the sisters pressed close to Ronan, their skin patterns shifting from fear to a tentative trust. Somewhere, Queen Lyra of the Valkyrie Empire was likely just learning her daughters were missing. And Ronan Vale, soldier of the Terran Defense Corps, had just broken more regulations than he could count. The evacuation transport Meridian's hope was built for human physiology, oxygen mix, temperature, even the lighting calibrated for Terran eyes. None of it suited the 2 young Valkyrie passengers now sharing Ronan's corner of the passenger deck. Their luminous violet skin kept cycling through patterns of deep blues and pale lilacs, each hue a clear sign of emotional strain. Dr. Mara Ellen, the ship's medical officer, crouched nearby, observing the children with professional curiosity. "They're glowing again," she murmured. "Pattern intensities high, still extreme distress." "They miss their mother," Ronan replied, offering Kayla a foil juice packet. She sniffed it suspiciously before taking a tentative sip. Saris, the older one, watched closely, protective as ever. "You said their names are Saris and Kayla?" Mara asked, pulling up a datapad. "I've been reviewing the cultural briefings. That title they mentioned, the Lyra, isn't just a name. It's a specific designation for the ruling queen of their entire empire." Ronan's grip on his seat tightened. "You're saying they're royalty," Mara confirmed softly. "These girls aren't just from a noble family, they're the daughters of Queen Lyra herself." The thought settled over him like lead. No wonder they'd been dressed in silken tunics that changed color with emotion, or carried themselves with such quiet poise despite their fear. And no wonder the Valkyrie fleet had closed in so quickly after the evacuation. "Papa Ronan, mother safe?" Saris asked suddenly, her harmonics tentative. The translator rendered it awkwardly, but the meaning was clear. "I hope so," Ronan said, choosing his words carefully. He didn't know if the Lyra had survived the bombardment, but he wasn't going to add more fear to the mix.
For the rest of the voyage, Saris and Kayla shadowed him constantly. They slept curled up against his sides, ate only if he encouraged them, and grew visibly uneasy if he stepped away for more than a few minutes. The other human evacuees, initially wary of the violet-skinned aliens, gradually warmed to them. Even the most suspicious colonists found it difficult to hold on to prejudice when faced with two wide-eyed children clinging to the only protector they trusted. 7 days into the trip, a summons came over the ship's comm. "Sergeant Vale, report to the communications center. Priority 1. Mara frowned. "Sounds serious." "I'll watch them. They'll panic if I'm gone," Ronan said quietly, kneeling so he was level with the girls. "Stay here. I'll be back soon." They didn't look convinced, but Saris gave a small nod. The comm center was a flurry of activity, holographic maps showing shifting fleet positions across the sector. Colonel Heston's face appeared in sharp relief against the tactical display. His voice was clipped. "Vale, we've got a problem. The Valkyrie Empire believes we abducted the royal heirs. They're mobilizing for war." "Sir, I can expel." "You picked up 2 alien children," Heston cut in. "Children who happen to be Queen Lyra's daughters. Officially, you're confined to quarters pending an inquiry into evacuation protocol violations. Unofficially, you're the only one they trust." Ronan exhaled slowly. "What do you need me to do?" "Keep them safe, keep them calm. The Valkyrie have agreed to meet at Kepler Station in 3 months for negotiations. You'll be there with them. If this goes wrong, we're staring down a war that could burn half the sector." Back in the passenger compartment, Saris and Kayla ran to him the moment he entered, their bioluminescence shifting from anxious purples to calmer violets. "You came back," Kayla said in halting standard, her voice full of relief. "I'll always come back," Ronan promised, drawing them close. He'd signed up to fight wars, not prevent them. But looking into those violet eyes, he knew his orders now went far beyond duty. 3 months on Kepler Station had turned Ronan Vale from a soldier into something he'd never imagined, a single father learning the rhythms of raising 2 violet-skinned alien princesses. Saris, sharp-eyed and thoughtful, absorbed everything around her. Kayla, curious and fearless, could turn any corridor into an obstacle course. Between diplomatic briefings, security checks, and endless cultural lessons, Ronan found himself braiding hair that shimmered with shifting light and learning lullabies written in harmonics no human throat was built to produce. "Papa Ronan," Saris asked one evening, seated cross-legged on the floor of his quarters. Why do humans not sing their feelings? She guided his clumsy hands through the braiding pattern again, gently correcting him when the strands crossed wrong. Human feelings are quieter, Ronan explained, focusing on the intricate loops. We use words instead of music, expressions instead of light. That sounds lonely, Kayla murmured from her perch at his workstation, sketching Kepler Station's hydroponic gardens in painstaking detail. How do humans know when someone is sad if they do not glow blue? The question landed heavier than she could have known. We learn to watch each other's faces, Ronan said. To listen. Just like I've learned to read your light patterns. Sarah's bioluminescence brightened faintly. You always know when we miss Mama. Ronan's chest tightened. He didn't want to think about the day they might have to leave him, but Queen Thalira's search would not stop. And now, after months of silence, the moment was closing in. The station's comm system chimed with an incoming priority message. Colonel Heston appeared on the screen, unusually formal. Ronan, the Valkyrie delegation has arrived. They're requesting immediate access to the princesses. Now. They've been traveling for months. The delegation includes royal guards, medical staff, and Queen Thalira herself. Both girls, hearing her name, froze. Sarah's skin patterns shifted to cautious gold, Kayla's flared into anxious violet. Sir, forcing contact right away could be traumatic. They've bonded to me. I understand your concerns, Heston said, but the Queen believes they were kidnapped. She needs proof otherwise. That's why I want you to accompany them. Saris tugged at his sleeve, eyes wide. Mama doesn't know we're happy, she said. She doesn't know you sing to us, or that you learned our words. Ronan met her gaze, then Kayla's. If we go together, she'll see. She'll understand. An hour later, they were walking through Kepler Station's diplomatic quarter. Saris clung to his left hand, Kayla claimed his right arm. Their light patterns pulsed with anticipation and fear as they approached the towering doors of the reception chamber. Whatever happens, Ronan murmured, you're safe. No one can take you anywhere you don't want to go. You'll stay with us. Kayla's voice was small. As long as you need me, he promised. The chamber beyond was transformed, holographic gardens of singing crystal trees, air laced with the mineral scent of their homeworld. At the center stood Queen Thalira, her luminous violet skin patterned in regal geometries, her robes scattering light like 1,000 captured stars. Saris and Kayla broke from him instantly, running to her with cries of "Mama." Their voices carried pure joy, and yet, even as they embraced her, they kept looking back at Ronan. The Queen's arms closed around her daughters, but the reunion was far from simple. Royal guards in gleaming ceremonial armor stepped forward, energy spears trained squarely on Ronan's chest. "Seize the human," ordered General Vaylor, Thalira's chief military advisor, his harmonics sharp with authority. "He will answer for the abduction of the royal heirs." Ronan raised his hands slowly, keeping his posture calm. One wrong move and he'd be a scorch mark on the polished floor. Before the guards could advance, Saris broke free from her mother's embrace, planting herself between Ronan and the weapons. "No," she cried, her light patterns flashing bright gold. "Papa Ronan saved us." Kayla flung her arms around his leg, her glow blazing in defiant white gold. "Don't hurt our family." The guards froze, unwilling to endanger the royal children. "Princess Saris," Vaylor said carefully, "you've been through trauma. Step away from the human." "We're safe because of him," Saris interrupted, her harmonics resonating through the crystalline chamber. "He found us when everyone else ran. He learned our words. He sang to us so we wouldn't be afraid." Queen Thalira's expression shifted, recognition, disbelief, something softer breaking through the formal mask. Kayla chimed in, her voice trembling but determined. "He's the best papa in the stars." The chamber fell silent. The Queen's bioluminescent patterns dimmed, then brightened into hues of gratitude. You cared for them, she said, her voice like music through glass. They're remarkable children, Your Majesty, Ronan replied, his hands resting gently on their shoulders. Brave, clever, and kind. Anyone would be honored to be their guardian. Thalira's gaze sharpened. Guardian, she repeated. Not captor. Not enemy. Guardian. Sarah straightened proudly. Papa Ronan knows all our bedtime songs, even if he can't sing like us. And he tries very hard to make Valkyrie food. Kayla added, he makes it wrong, but it's still good. The queen laughed, a sound that made the air itself feel lighter. Then her expression turned solemn. By the laws of the Valkyrie Empire, she declared, I name you Thereth, guardian of the royal blood. You are family now. Gasps rippled through the court. Valor hesitated. Your Majesty, he's human. Interspecies adoption has never been necessary before, the Lyra finished firmly. It is now. Ronan felt the weight of history pressing in. Your Majesty, I still serve in the Terran Defense Corps. Which is why this serves both our peoples, she replied. You will help my daughters bridge our worlds. They will live between human and Valkyrie space, learning from both families. Kayla tugged at his sleeve, her glow bright with excitement. Papa Ronan, you'll see the singing forests. And grandmother makes the best harmony cakes. Saris grinned. We told her about you in our messages. Ronan blinked. Messages? Every week, Saris said. We wanted Mama to know we were happy. Thalira's smile softened. My daughters are fine diplomats. Around them, the court shifted from suspicion to something warmer. Valor lowered his spear. Perhaps, Your Majesty, this is the beginning of peace. Perhaps, the Lyra agreed. If a soldier could love Valkyrie children as his own, then perhaps our peoples are not so different. Ronan looked at the girls, then at the queen, and felt the truth settle deep. The war that had threatened to ignite might end here, not with treaties, but with the choice of 3 hearts to become a family. And as the queen's decree echoed through the crystalline chamber, Ronan Vale knew his life had just changed forever. And that's how a single soldier, sent to follow orders, ended up rewriting the history of 2 civilizations. What began in the smoke and fire of Zirian Prime became something far larger than Ronan Vale could have imagined, a bridge between worlds. The violet-skinned sisters who had clung to him in fear now walked proudly at his side. Queen Thalira's trust had transformed him from an outsider into a guardian, someone who would be remembered not just in human history, but in the annals of the Valkyrie Empire. Life wouldn't be simple. There would be diplomatic councils, interstellar travel, and more than a few cultural mishaps. Ronan had already resigned himself to becoming the galaxy's least skilled harmony cake taster. But there would also be laughter in the halls of 2 palaces, starlit lullabies sung in languages both musical and plain, and the unshakable bond of a family forged in the most unlikely of circumstances. Peace, as it turned out, didn't come from weapons or treaties alone. Sometimes, it began in the smallest of choices, stepping into the ruins because you heard a child cry. Sometimes, it was 2 sisters teaching their new father the right way to braid hair. And sometimes, it was a queen deciding that love mattered more than old grudges. If you've enjoyed this journey, remember, stories like this remind us that the galaxy, big as it is, feels smaller when we reach across divides. So, subscribe to the channel, share this story with someone who needs a little hope today, and keep your eyes on the stars. You never know where the next rescue, the next friendship, the next peace might come from.